Welcome back everyone. For today's video we continue with the speedrun. We're just past 1000 elo and I play a game but it wasn't rated, so I don't think I'm gonna upload that one, and I actually drew it. So the opponent plays d4, d5. Okay, we get the London system. Well, here I think a good strategy is to play the anti-London system with bishop to g4. Right here we can always play symmetrical chess like bishop to f5. But there is a difference here. Once he develops the knight, he still has to deal with this threat, right? He cannot push this pawn. So we could take here, but let's develop the rest of the pieces. For example, knight f6. And to be honest, I'm not an expert on this system, but here, first principles, I'm going to grab a space for my bishop if he ever wants to play something like this. So my bishop has to space to retreat. Now, in these systems, you always want to push the c5 pawn early, and now you get knight c6. So here, for example, yeah, I'm gonna get this. I'm actually worried about that, about this pawn push, but it should be fine. So let's play solid chess e6. If he goes here, there is advantages and disadvantages to that move. He doesn't play that, so everything is good. Yeah, for example, he could have overextended that pawn, right? Okay, now let's get this king to safety. Let's cancel. Now he's spinning my knight, which is a fine move. Now, to get out of the pin, like later in the future, just protecting my knight with my other knight. And probably I have something like queen b6. That looks like a good move. Putting your rook on the semi-open file is also principal chess, so I'm gonna do that. Now he's okay. Probably here we have to calculate, right? If we go back, he takes with the bishop, and now this pawn will be hanging. He can take with the queen, so I am forced to take this knight. No other good option, no other good move. It's kind of the only move in the position. And now I have interesting ideas of going e5 and maybe e4. So he has to deal with that threat. Let's see how he manages to protect with this. But yeah, his knight and his bishops are a little misplaced. Okay, that's a good move. Now getting out of, he understands that this was a threat, but I think I can play it anyway. There is also a drawback, right? Once we push this pawn, now he can land the knight on this square on d4. And I actually don't want to allow that. So let's think about other move, which doesn't involve the knight getting more active. Yeah, queen b6. I love queen b6, this idea of going here and keeping an eye on the knight. So, for example, if he takes, let's say if I take, I cannot even point. If he takes, I just take with the knight, for example, or even with the queen. Actually, with the queen, I have to take back with the queen. Otherwise, I'm hanging this pawn. So, I have to take... Oh, wait. I actually have to hand the pawn because my knight is hanging. Oh, boy. No, wait. What is better? No. On second thought, none of that works. I have to take back with the knight, with the pawn. Yeah. This opens the position a little bit. Oh my god, I still own the knight, so okay, I have to move. Oh my god, I'm losing. Okay. I miscalculated that. Probably down. I'm definitely down, sorry. Okay. Yeah, again, I don't want to play this because allows this knight to d4. But what about d4 though? d4. D4 looks interesting. Probably it's gonna be a mess on the board, but I have to do something about it. Now, what I can get is something like rook e8. So how do we handle these type of positions, right, where we're down? First, just look for forcing moves. Don't panic. Keep playing. Here, we're giving a check, so he has to respond to this. Now he's gonna have to castle. Maybe take the smallest advantage. So at least here I'm gonna recover a pawn. Whoa, wait a second. I think that's losing. If I take, it's gonna take here, take, and put in more pressure on the bishop. So I'm gonna recover the piece, fortunately. And if he doesn't take, I can play f5. So probably the best move for white is just to castle. Yeah, that's a good move. Maybe I can win this pawn. Yeah, I don't like it, but takes. He takes this pawn. Let's think about this for a sec. Okay, his queen is on the open, so maybe I can just hit this queen. Let's hit the queen first. He wants to trade queens, which might not be such a bad idea at this point. Yeah, here takes, bishop goes back. Wait, isn't, no, I think this bishop is hanging, sorry about that. So this bishop is hanging. I don't know what is wrong, but I cannot calculate today. So that happens sometimes. Okay, now I can just take back with the bishop. And we're back in the game. I'm gonna put pressure here on the 7 file. And bishop versus 2 rooks. I should have a slight advantage, I believe. So now I have all this pressure on this file, right? Probably I am rusty in this format. I don't know why, or just like making the video. Okay, let's take. There's tactics here. I'm not sure, but I think I can take. Second. Bishop takes, rook takes, rook takes. No, it should be fine. It should be fine if I take this pawn. Takes. I can take twice. I wonder if he has something else. Yeah, it should be fine. This one. Bishop. Bishop to f2 is the threat. Rook takes, and takes. Oh, he resigned. So let's do a game review. Okay, I see something very valuable in this game review. So remember the move I was calculating, right? So here I get rid of the knight. It's the only move that is available. Then e5, that is a good move. Bishop to f5. And now I completely should have played this move. That's a good move. e4. I missed it. I played queen b6. So, which is a blunder as you saw it, because I was like, wait, yeah, my knights are not really protecting each other. So if I take here, I should have taken back with a knight. But now also, oh, I didn't see even this. The rook is hanging. So maybe at the time it was a good move to just give up the knight to save the rook. I don't know. Okay, now the game continue. And he blundered, right? I mean, my objective here with pushing the pawn was his king is still in the middle of the game. So maybe I can create some counterplay by giving checks. So castle, rook c8. And now he offered the threat of queens, which is what you are, like what they teach you in some classes on some chess lessons. Yeah, trade queens if you are up material. However, yeah, my bishop is protecting my queen, and this move is also on protecting his bishop. So I can just take here. Okay, here, yeah, we just take. And now it's completely losing for black, for white, sorry. And I missed this move. Yeah, I missed it at the time. So here I can just take. Bishop has to be moved. He cannot take because I can just take twice. However, the difference now is saying 3 points. Yeah, 3 points of advantage for black. Alright. Let's come back to the videos. I'm not sure if this is a rated game finally, because I played 2 unrated games without noticing. So okay, we're gonna get the same moves we always get in the Karoken, right? So c6 and then d5, no matter what. The knight goes up, and here I wouldn't recommend you to push this pawn, but I'm gonna push it anyway. So now he has to decide. He has to decide whether to push this. Sorry, where to put this knight. So now it's protecting. The impulse is to play c5. I think that's a good move, but I'm gonna develop my bishop first. I think that's a good idea. Maybe, yeah. Let's see, because he can play that. Okay. Now we don't. I guess it's fine if we just go back to this square, and now he's gonna start pushing the pawns forward. No, actually I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back to all the way to the original square, and now we're creating weaknesses on the dark squares, right? So this is what we're doing here. Let's get e5. Now let's take back. Okay, now what I want to do is probably trade this, modify. Okay, yeah, let's trade this bishop. Yeah, that is his good bishop. If I get to trade it, then if you can tell, this pawn is not really hanging. I can just take his bishop. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of it anyway. Probably we're playing slightly dubious moves today, but sometimes that's the fun. That's the fun of chess. Wait a second here. All the pieces are awkward. Okay, I'm gonna develop my knight and then castle, right? Oh wow, he wants to trade bishops right away. I don't see. Okay, I don't mind trading bishops. I'm gonna pre-move that. Take him back with the queen. Okay, let's take the bishop. This pawn was hanging. So maybe we can even get... let's go with b5. Yeah, let's go with b5, protecting the pawn. Now I can get my knight out. Whoa! That's... okay. Opposite side castling is always... makes the positions risky, right? But what the advantages I have is... okay, his pawns are not really advanced, and his knights are in the middle of the way. My advantage is I can start pushing a5, a5, a6, b4, c5 immediately, and none of my pieces are on the way. So yeah, to me that was kind of a strategical mistake. I don't see the advantage to doing that. So okay, let's just get the knight out before we start pushing more pawns, because eventually we want to support our pawns, right? Maybe c5 looks attractive, and then c4. Yeah, let's get c5 and c4. c5, c4. If he takes, I'm gonna play rook c8. Okay, let's go with c4. And now rook c8. Yeah, okay, that's interesting. Let's go and give a check. Also keeping an eye on this pawn. Maybe 95. Yeah, 95 looks like it keeps the momentum on the board. I'm hitting the queen, hitting this pawn. I can also get d3. Oh no, d3 is it's like it's protected by everything, but maybe it's worth calculating. d3, pawn knight takes. No, yeah, it's too many pieces. Let me think about this for a second. Maybe queen c7. Okay, I'm gonna keep pushing. Maybe b4 and then b3. I'm not sure about this, or a4. Okay, this is my instinct. My instinct is telling me that I have to play b4 and b5 maybe. Yeah, I have to get something in this position, so I'm not sure which one. That looks like a mistake. But why? So here we have to be careful. The knight is keeping an eye on the rook. But I think I can play d3. d3. If knight takes, I just take, right? d3, knight takes, I take. So I believe, yeah, I don't think he should have moved this knight. I'm gonna push d3. If he ever takes, I can even take with tempo. Okay, now that's the advantage of having the initiative. We have multiple moves. We can take here. I believe this is winning, but now, as you can tell, this is a fork. It's a fork of the queen of and the rook, and this is completely losing now for white. Yeah, I think the best try for him would have been to keep the two knights, keeping an eye on this square, because now I can just get rid of this, and now even start pushing d2. d2, he's forced to play something like rook d1. And yeah, he resigned. There's nothing to be done here. And I got 11 points of elo. That was nice. Let's do a game review. Okay, guys, so we played an offbeat opening this time with d4, c6, d3, d5. And now, this is also kind of weird. Always is a bit strange, right? Because he's playing a symmetrical option. But once he develops the knight, it's really tempting to push d4. Probably I wouldn't recommend you to play it, but this was fun. So here, knight to c2, bishop to g4, and now I have seen these positions before, where if you go here, now you're giving white the whole initiative, right? And he can start pushing the pawns, and no. So I knew that probably one of the best moves was to go back, and it was. Yeah, this is knight to c8, bishop to c8 is the best move in the position. So now c3, I protect the pawn. Okay, we trade here. f4 is like an accuracy. Now I think the best way is just to develop the knight. But I was worried that I was worried about this, and then this is the threat, right? Maybe, but okay, computer saying that's fine. So bishop to d6, we trade bishops. Now, once I get the king to safety, I have actually equalized, showing a slight advantage for black. Now just trade bishops, and castling the opposite sides, like it was completely losing. This is completely losing, for the same reason I mentioned, right? These pawns are stuck. These 3-4 pawns, we can even say this pawn, are stuck on the board. So I can get a5, queen c2. I develop my last piece. And once this happens, rook takes on c4 was a mistake. I'm supposed just to kick the queen out. Oh, I'm sorry. Now, king b1, e5. And black, white can't hold onto the position, but it's saying, queen d2 is a blunder. The blunder is the game. You are supposed to play this. Okay. Yeah, here he blunders the fork. Queen d2, he blunders the fork as we saw it. Queen g2, okay, we just take. Keep pushing pawns, and it's completely losing, so that's why he resigned. Alright guys, let's do another game. I think I'm about to hit 1100 elo. Let's go with d4. Hoping we can get the Queen's Gambit. Okay, nice. We get d5 and now c4, Queen's Gambit. This is going to transpose into the Slav defense. Let's go with knight c3. I'm tempted to play this line of e4. Let's see what he plays. Yeah, now it's not possible, right? It's not possible to play it, so let's just play solid, get the other knight out. Knight to f3. Okay, and now just because I have seen a lot of the lines with Sindarov playing bishop to f4, I'm gonna play that line. And we cannot even play bishop to g5 anyway, so now I can get e3. We get something very symmetrical. Okay, here maybe I can put the knight on this square just to avoid the trade. I normally don't do that, but I'm gonna do it in this time around. So this avoids the trade of the bishop, right? Oh, okay. That is kind of a mistake. But okay, it's interesting. It's interesting to see. In my opinion, that's a mistake to trade the good bishop, right? We look at the pawn structure. Well, what is a good bishop, or what was a good bishop for black? The bishop that can travel, the bishop that had all of these squares. So now I think I can just take here on d5. You always want to take. You can always wait for your opponent and just take back with the bishop. But this time I feel like I have the advantage, so I don't have to try to confuse my opponent. It's fine. Now knight to bishop to d3, pointing at this diagonal. Queen c2 next. Queen e2 also a good idea in some structures. Okay, he's hitting my bishop, so and it's like it's hanging up. So I'm gonna go back. Just go back to this square. Okay, he's getting the bishop out. I'm gonna castle. Okay, this is a common idea, but it's not something I see every day. What we're gonna play now is f3 and then e4. And the reason why this is a good idea is the rook might be here, right? He can also get something like f5 at some point. But thanks to the knight being here, we have that extra tempo. Oh wait, I actually cannot play that. I was gonna play this, but then this pawn is hanging, so no. Sorry about that. We cannot play that. Okay, I'm gonna play rook e1. Same idea. Maybe f3 and then e4. Okay. Yeah, I would have yeah, this is something I don't play very often, so I wasn't even aware of this tactic. But yeah, okay, let's go. I think that's a bad move from black, because now this knight is trapped. Where is the knight going after I play f3? Yeah, he trapped his own knight. I guess his idea was, oh, okay, I'm gonna put my knight here. But he didn't realize. Also, very early on, he got h6, right? h6. If he hadn't played h6, his knight would have had a square to return. So you have to be careful, even just like slight moves you make. Oh, I'm gonna just push the pawn, right? Yeah, you cannot do that. Okay. No, he's making this move, or is forcing. Okay, I can even opt for the third of queens. Yeah, this knight is not going anywhere. Anyway, yeah, he just doesn't have anything here in this position to escape. And now he's forced to trade. So I'm gonna trade, even just pre-move. Okay, he's moving the knight somewhere. All right, I think what is a good move? Let's take. Let's take. Once he takes, I'm gonna take. So he managed to triple my pawns. I think that's a good accomplishment. But he's still losing, right? He's still losing because he's down a piece. And now let's trade queens. Let's trade queens and go for that idea I mentioned before of e4. e4, I have everything supporting this pawn. All right. I think everything is fine at this point. I'm gonna take back with the rook, so I can get rook e1 later. Okay, he's hitting. I cannot go here. I'm gonna protect the bishop. Okay. Now that's good. We still have an extra piece. So he has to play down a piece. Yeah, we activate the king. And now I don't have to worry so much about this square, this pawn. Okay, I'm gonna go here, target the pawn. Yeah, that's kind of what I was hoping for. So now I can get this beautiful square for the knight. Also make sure every time you push the knight or you go ahead with the knight, you make sure you have a bailout mode. For example, if he goes here, okay, still have a square available. Or this square even, right? Rerouting. What can I do in this position? I think I can offer the trade of rooks. Let's do that. Okay. Now let's go here. It's a slight advantage, right? It's not that much. I'm gonna play b4. What if I offer the other rook? Yeah, if he manages to get all the pieces and we get into a rook versus knight endgame, he can have drawing chances. But now if I manage to trade the rooks, then that advantage is gone. That drawing position is gone. So let's go here, putting pressure on this pawn. Yeah, notice how, okay, he wants to get the rook, but he cannot enter these squares, at least these three important squares, because my king is here. I'm gonna grab here this pawn. Probably would avoid it, although that drops this pawn as well. Okay, I'm gonna pre-move, just because he's also taking his time, but it's all good. Okay, he drops another pawn. Now, okay, let's just protect here. Okay, let's offer the trade of rooks again. I'm protecting my pawn as well. He could give a check. So remember, you want to be on the alert. We don't want to allow. Okay, that allows another check, but oh wow, that's a surprise. Why? Why did he play that though? It gives me a tempo. Yeah, I was expecting him to give another check, but it gives me a tempo, and I can go here. Is that a blunder? 94. 94. Okay, I'm not sure what his plan is, so I'm gonna play rook e7. Right, it's not allowing anything. You know what? Okay. Yeah, everything is protected. Now let's keep activating the king. I keep an eye on the pawn. Yeah, you always want to ask questions. Okay, how are you making progress exactly in this position, right? Now, I want to target this pawn, so maybe this is a safe route. Let's go here and then here. Yeah, this is not scary. I can just take. Okay, let's take. Now let's go here. Target the pawn. Okay, in here we can always protect, but I'm gonna force the trade of rooks. Right here, he has to take, so I'm pre-moving. I gave a check, so this is winning. I think we should see resignation now. Okay, yeah, we see resignation. I got another 10 points. Let's do a game review. Okay, the accuracy is impressive, but it was too much cooperation. We get the Queen's Gambit, which is now playing against the Slav defense, these 3 pawns. Perfect, so you develop your 2 knights. Now he threw in this move, which is fine, I guess it's completely fine to play h6. Now I get bishop to f4. And by the way, I don't want to play, let's say he develops his other knight. I don't want to play this move anyway. Bishop to g5 is usually an accuracy. He can get something like this. And he's now targeting my bishop. I had to waste a tempo, right, to move it. So, okay, I don't know why he threw h6. It's not even useful. So, e3, bishop to d6, knight to e5, bishop takes on e5, bishop takes on e5, castle, c takes, castle, okay, the game continues. Okay, yeah, this is an inaccuracy because where is this knight going after I go back? The game continue. And now, oh, he's supposed to go back. He's supposed to go back with the knight. Rook e1, preparing for that plan, right? Of f3, and now e4. Yeah, this traps the knight completely. Okay. Yeah, to me that was a good resource. Okay, he's at least getting something in return. He's tripling my pawns. He's getting a pawn back. But yeah, it's losing. And the computer is saying 3 points of advantage, right? It's a whole piece. Now let's see the endgame. I think this was a matter of technique. Here we want to offer the trade of rooks. Okay, if he's avoiding it, let's grab pawns. We can just grab pawns. And yeah, he tried some attack, some kind of counterplay. And I can force the trade of rooks here. Thank you very much indeed for that. And yeah, this is 7 points. It's like almost 8 points of advantage. Yeah, I'm grabbing this pawn. And now this is going forward. It's completely losing for black. Okay guys, check out this channel, check out my other videos and my original or my main channel, which is the Engineer's Gambit, where we break down a lot of strategy concepts. I will see you in the next one and take care.